Welcome everybody. We are in session number 3 of our class, and today we will start with looking at the survey or quiz which we call SQA Basics 2. And some of you did it before the previous session, but I can see the most recent contribution was made 8 hours ago, and we have 49 people there, which is very impressive. So guys, let's go inside, and we will look at your results, and we will also involve whatever materials might be needed to make it easier to understand what the good answer is about. So the first question is, it says, graphic user interface standards and guidelines are established by who comes with the rules of graphic user interface. Before we jump on that, I just want to make it clear why we care about graphic user interface standards and guidelines and rules and all that. To test software means to find differences between expected product defined by requirements and actual product which developers update on everyday basis. So you cannot actually find differences unless you really know very well the expected results, the requirements. And very often the requirements are not given to you to study in a very clear to consume form. It might be given you to very poor form, or it might not be given to you at all. And so the more they come with no requirements, the more senior people they would hire to handle such a situation. Because if you are at the very bottom of the professional ladder, so you need some guidelines, you need requirements, you need something to work with. So you start working for whatever company you start working for, and within a couple of weeks, let's say 2 weeks for sure, nobody expects much in terms of bug reports from you, because your major activity is to study the application. In some companies, it might be 3 months, really, especially for permanent position. I remember one day we've got a company called Siebel. They were purchased later on by Oracle, but they come to us. It's a database company, and they interview a group of people. And then before they started, I said, guys, what is your plan? What is how you're going to proceed? And they say, we will take 2 people, 2 graduates, for 6 months. We will pay them $10 per hour, and after that, we will convert them into permanent employees. And I said, listen, with economy being as good as we have now, who will commit 6 months at $10? And they told me, Michael, you have to understand, 6 months we need to teach them what our product is about. For 6 months, we will teach them. We pay them $10 to learn. We are not expecting any result from them. It's a complicated product. We need 6 months to teach that. So it might be as tough as that. I'm not saying each and every company is like that. I would say it's rather rare, but I just want you to see the bigger picture. So why graphic user interface is important, sometimes critical in your situation. You join a company, and they do not expect anything from you within a certain period of time, and then from the day one, you start writing decent bug reports. The bug reports are not going to be about functionality, because you don't know the functionality yet, but it will be about the way the application looks. Most of the companies do not pay much attention to that, because they are so much overwhelmed with functionality problems. So they neglect usability issues. They neglect graphic user interface issues. So if they get someone on board who does pay attention, you will be appreciated, guys, and you will be noticed. And no matter how minor your bug reports are in terms of severities and priorities and being fixed, you will kind of surprise them in a positive way by coming with lots of bug reports. Guys, they want you to produce bug reports. Some people think that good tester writes lots of bug reports. which is not always like that. So some good tester is different from so-so tester because good tester has more bug reports fixed, not more bug reports reported. That is a big difference. So you want more bug reports fixed rather than reported. So who comes with the standards? And we gave you the links to the standards on that page, on the home online home page, the one you all have. It is here under resources, and it says GUI standards for Windows 7 and Vista, Windows XP and 2000 if you ever might need one. But my suggestion is download it from Microsoft website. They might remove it, and it's a good reference. Standards for web applications coming from Uncle Sam from usability.gov website. So you have the standards. I wouldn't say it's a good idea just to read a book or just to browse and kind of familiarize yourself. The real good idea would be anytime you run into actual testing, read the book and test at the same time. Reading the book without testing anything is not good because it will not make much of impact on your brain, and it doesn't make you better tester. Okay, so you need different type of activity. So actual implementation, actual usage of the rules, applying them to a specific interface. So you write bug reports, and now you know you can do it, and everybody knows you can do it. So Microsoft comes with graphic user interface guidelines for Windows applications because Microsoft does Windows. I don't know why you have 60% here, guys, but it's 100%. For Windows, Microsoft does the guideline. For web applications, US government does the guidelines. If you think about how founding fathers were understanding the government, they were thinking whatever public cannot take care of by itself, then government should do it. If public can handle that, government shouldn't. That is how we've got the government mail system, because everybody in the country, has the right to receive and send mail. Then we've got government mail because public, 200 years ago, public couldn't handle that. Then we've got public schools because every child deserves to go to school, and public wasn't capable of doing that 200 years ago. And we still have those, but what I'm saying, both Microsoft and government, which takes care of web, because there is no company which owns the web. So they say, okay, guys, we will take care of the government. Usability.gov, the Department of Health and Human Services of US government, says, okay, here are the guidelines for website usability. Then we have industry best practices. If you ask yourself, how old is the government standard? How old is the Microsoft standard? Might be 5 years old. Lots of things happen within 5 years. Guys, sometimes changes are so dramatic. It might take 50 years. I mean, our grandfathers, would experience such a change, not in GUI, obviously, but in their life, maybe within 50 years, and now we have it in 5 years. So, do we care, or we just care about 5-year-old standard? We do. We do care about changes which didn't become standard yet, didn't become published yet, but they became industry best practices. So everybody is using that. Users are expecting us to do that now. As an example, let's say if we go to the Tolia page, the one we used as an example of GUI testing last time, let me go there. Look at that. Here is the web page, and then it says from amount, and then it says 100, and then whatever, 100,000 or million. In today's world, because of the good practices, when it says from amount, you would expect that amount to be provided. I mean, what are the units? Is it dollars or dollars and cents, or maybe I don't know, I mean, really. And when it says invoice date, I would expect something YY, DD, you know, certain format. What goes first, month and day, or day and month, and do we expect one letter or two, one position or two positions for, you know, for months, like here we have 6 for a month, and then we have 9 for a month, but then it becomes 10, now it requires 2. So what is the format? In today's world, because of the best practices, so we really expect something here which is missing. And then we will go and write a bug report. So that is an example. So until it becomes part of the standard. So maybe now it is a part of the standard. I don't know. I have to look at the book. So best practices is important. As a good tester, you come and say, listen, we have to update that. You remember, testing is about verification, which means we make sure requirements are implemented. And validation, which means we reflect to requirements. We are saying, hey, wait a second, we have to change the requirement because the requirement is obsolete, or we can make it better, or people expect something which is not in the requirement yet. So we look at the requirement and we look at the implementation of requirements. That's why we have verification and we have validation. So when you come with that, you are in validation business. You say, why don't we improve something? The way it looks, the way it works. So best practices is important. And the question is, graphic user interface standards and guidelines are established by all of that. Microsoft for Windows, US government for web. We are lucky not to have anything for mobile yet, otherwise we have to learn it. But industry best practices, yes. Policies of your employer. You might get a job with a 6-month-old startup, and that startup is waiting for financing to come. In 3 months, they either get money or they get out of business. So both starts with get out or get money. Now, they don't care about GUI, guys, believe it or not, because the product is not going to customers yet much. And people who give the money do not pay any attention to graphic user interface yet. So they pay attention to absolutely different things. They might tell you, listen, just don't do it. I mean, forget about graphic user interface. Unless it crashes, don't even bother to report. It might happen. So then you follow the policy of your employer. I can give you another example. We were testing for a company called Talent6. They are doing recruitment of talent for Hollywood shows and movies. And so their marketing manager comes to the school and he talks to maybe 40, 50 graduates in preparation to the test to begin. And I'm asking him, listen, in terms of graphic user interface, is there any website you want your website to be like? In terms of graphic user interface, he says, Michael, it's an insult. We are unique. We want to be unique. We do not want to be like anybody else. I'm saying, yeah, but just the way it looks. I mean, buttons, list boxes, combo boxes, that stuff. He said, oh, it's very simple. We want to be like Google. And when he said Google, he probably meant the Google search, because Google has many faces now, but probably like Google search. Simple, straightforward, easy to navigate, that kind. So if you have any doubt, look at this and do it like them. It might be policy of your employer. They might say, listen, anytime you have some doubt how it should be done, look at Yahoo, look at Google, look at Picasso Web, look at Facebook. They will tell you. And you will be surprised how fast your management people will answer questions like that. Do you want our application to look like somebody else's application? It is no-brainer. It takes 1/10 of a second to tell you what it is. They know. They do have something in mind. So that is the idea of graphic user interface. So guys, you have that power of something cheap which sells high. Okay, cheap means you can learn it fast and it's no-brainer. It's very simple. It's perfectly defined on paper in a document, and it sells high because most of the people in QA business have no idea it exists. And that is why. Okay, we are moving to the second question here. It says define regression testing. Let's see what we've got. Making sure that software error was fixed. Good, never say that. That one is called verification of fixed bugs. Guys, I'm proud of you. Honestly, I've seen so many variations here. Making sure software is not broken while fixing bugs. Some people bought into that. It is not really good, because in that definition you narrow down the idea of regression testing. We make sure it is not broken as a result of any modification made to the code. Fixing the bugs definitely is a modification of the code, but it is not the only possible modification of the code. So if we say regression testing is about making sure it's not broken while fixing bugs, we narrow down the definition, and not many of you actually support that. Then we have another one which limits the scope. It says making sure that previously fixed bugs are not back in new release. There is a term returning bugs. Some applications are real big in fixed bugs coming back over time. In my experience, I would say I was looking at spreadsheets when I was for Borland International. I talked to people testing their spreadsheet, Quattro Pro. And so I learned first time in my life that they had very high rate of bugs, fixed bugs, coming back over time. It wasn't 20 years ago, but what I'm saying, in some applications under certain circumstances, it might be the case, and it is called, I mean, again, there is no scientific term for that, but the way I've seen it before was, they call it returning bugs, not regression. Making sure that no new errors were introduced while making changes to the code. That is the definition. The definition. We want 100% here, not 80. Retesting fixed bug reports by executing steps to reproduce. You just make sure the bug was fixed. Nobody supports that anyway. So out of 47 people, we have 2 who just freaked out. Guys, regression testing is not to freak out, okay? Regression testing is the must, okay? Power 2, power 2. In terms of importance, if you fail with that stuff, there is no reason to continue the conversation. It is real must. And let's take a look what we have on that in our forum with the detailed explanations we have there. Where is regression here? Maybe second page. Let's take a look. Okay, is it there? Yeah, regression testing. How do we define it? We are saying partial retesting of a modified program to make sure no new errors were introduced while making changes to the code. Good. And we are saying should be done for each new release. We do not have enough time to retest software completely. That is why we are saying it's a partial retesting. Good. So risk analysis is involved, meaning we have to decide which parts we pay more attention to when we retest. It is second to release acceptance, most frequently executed test, because some tests will not pass the release acceptance, so we don't have to do regression on them. And because of the frequency, it is a very good candidate for automation. Good. Avoid saying it is after fixing a bug, and you are good at that. Avoid saying it is after a new feature was added, because it also narrows down the scope. Avoid saying it, making sure the bug was fixed. It is verification of fixed bug. And never ever kind of make relations between regression testing and manual or automated. It could be manually done. It could be done in an automated way, or black box or white box. It could be done either way. And we specifically mentioned that because some people actually run into saying it is black box or white box or manual or automated, and don't run into that. I'm a little bit concerned with 80% here, to be honest, because kind of 4 out of 5 didn't come with the right one. So guys, still, I mean, the dominating answer is the right answer, but I really want you to come closer to 100% on that. What do you prefer? By the way, coming back a little bit, you have to understand that in a real life, you deal a lot with people who do not read books. And they might be your managers. And they might call whatever you think is regression, they might use different words. They might say regression, and it is not what you think is regression. And there is no single term in software testing which is used by everybody, under same conditions. It is not the case. In reality, in the real life, you go somewhere and you are always expecting other people to put different meaning into that. It might happen. So that is the assumption. Your assumption is not that we all have exact same understanding of terms. It is a wrong assumption. The correct assumption is wherever you go, they might use words which you think you understand, but they might have different meaning there. Be prepared. Be open to that. Do not struggle, for one definition or another definition. When they ask you, what is this? You say, out of many ways people, explain that, I would say the one I would use, so is this. But if you use another one, by the way, which one is yours? So I'm perfectly okay with accepting your definition. So we are not going to fight over definitions. Whatever they use. It's okay. Sometimes in our school, I ask teachers not to explain certain things because the way they explain it at their work, it is different from how we teach it here. And which is perfectly normal. We are just trying to be universally good. Okay, and they are good in terms of how they do it in their company. And one day I was discussing very similar question with a teacher, and I said, listen, it's not exactly how it should be. And teacher says, how do you know? I'm saying there are books, there are websites, there are professional circles, and that is a very common term, kind of, with not much of, discussions happening around. And she tells me, Michael, what's the problem? In our company, they don't read books. And if you come with your definition to our company, probably will not hire you. The problem here is, if I go to 100 companies, so 95 will hire me. And people who are working in those 5%, they have a problem of not being accepted by other 95. Okay, that is the real problem. So you are learning, and it's important to understand and remember and being able to reproduce what we learned here, what you learn, what we teach. At the same time, you are mature guys. You are not in the 2nd grade or 5th grade. Okay, you understand the complexity of the world. You understand that all the varieties of different things exist at the same time, and you never ever struggle or kind of fight over definitions and all those things. You are very much open to whatever they do it, whichever way they do it, it's okay. You can handle that. Keep going. What do you prefer, white or black box testing? And you guys are pretty good. So you have 93% with the right answer. And let me tell you why it's important, just in case. The question, what do you prefer, white or black box testing, the way you answer the question might stop the whole process. It might be a showstopper. If you want something I cannot give you in this company, I don't want you there, because you are not going to be motivated, you are not going to be enjoying the job, you are not going to grow. Really, I don't know if I want you there, because let's say you want white box testing and I have just black box position. If I hire you, I really do a bad thing to you, because you want to do something which pays more, which is more skillful work, and then I keep you at lower skill position, at lower compensation, and who am I after that? So it's not about glory. It is just about which job are you looking for now, number one. Number two, each and every company hires you not because you did something, which is important, but they hire you because you want to do in the future, because your employment with them is in the future. And so they might have some opportunity to move into white box, for example. And if you know that, everybody needs some room to grow, and everybody respects your interest in having that room to grow. So if you know they have an opportunity to move into white box, you say, I'm looking right now for black box position, but let me tell you, I mean, in my kind of understanding of where I'm going to be in 5 years, you know, I would rather grow into white box if you have that opportunity, and I know you have that opportunity. Consider me. So if they do not have that, do not go there, because that way you look like someone who is not really long-term attached to that company. So you are saying, I want to do black box testing, which is true. You're applying for black box testing after our course, but I would like to get involved in the white box testing if there is an opportunity like that. There is an answer here, number one, which says black box, it's what I'm trained to do. It is kind of miserable. Basically, you are saying, I would rather do something more glorious, but I'm miserable. I cannot do it. I'm not trained to do it. There is some negative connotation here. I mean, it is kind of true, but you want to be looking more glorious, okay, more positive, more happy person, okay? So let's move to, what is quality? We discussed before that if you want to beat the competition, you do not come with one idea of quality, you come with two ideas of quality. So one idea of quality is the way customers look at that, and not just customers, some people inside your company like HR, marketing, sales, public relations, upper management. So they think it's customer satisfaction, but another perspective is professional, where you are saying still, since we are on professional side, we still want that product to be up to the requirements. And that is why you pay us money, not for customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction comes from good requirements implemented right. Okay, so good requirements would define customer satisfaction, but good testing is why you hire us. So reporting on discrepancies. So that is why. So what do we have here? Subjective. It's not subjective question. It is a subjective matter. Quality is a subjective matter because customer satisfaction is a very subjective thing. The question is not subjective. It depends who we ask about quality. Good. For consumers, it's their satisfaction. For testers, it is the product that meets requirements. Okay, we have two perspectives. Then we have just one, customer satisfaction, not satisfactory, satisfaction, consumer perfection. I have no idea what consumer perfection means. You are going to make perfect consumers. I don't know, really. Consumer perfection has no meaning to me. In general, it is customer satisfaction, but for QA, it is how close the product is to requirements. Good. Then we have a big one. You may consider the definition of term quality from 2 points of view. From consumer perspective, it is a customer happiness, satisfaction. I like that. Quality. Okay, guys, it's a very small question, and I think you are okay with it. I'm just surprised with 4 people who skipped. I mean, why don't you go see what happened? Why don't you go and learn what it is? So we have that page with all the answers in the questions and answers. Then we have school forum. Then we have Google. Then we have Wikipedia. I mean, we have so many resources. And when you just say skip, it's a very bad sign. If instead of researching the question and giving the answer, you are skipping that, you are positioning yourself for failure in the future. It is not the way to be successful in what we are doing. I mean, actually, it's an opposite way. I don't know anybody who skips simple questions and becomes successful. I mean, you cannot replace hard work and dedication with things like skip. Okay? In that case, you are skipping your chances to improve, to grow, to become someone. And then we have 7 people who skipped. Developers test their code. What software testers are needed for? Let's see what other people say who didn't skip. You know what? I will run. You know what? No, I'm not going to run that. It should be somewhere on the school forum, I believe. Regression. Oh yeah. Why software testers are needed if developers test their code anyway? Okay. Let's go there and see what we are teaching you to answer that question. So testers do most of the negative testing. Testers do positive testing as well, but developers are doing positive testing. 30% of development job is testing. So developers do lots of testing on their side, on the code, but mostly they are doing positive testing. And when it comes to negative testing is much larger in volume than positive. Negative testing is very often neglected because we just do not have enough time to do negative. For one positive test, we might need 10, 15, 20 negative ones. So we just do not have time for that. I mean, developers definitely do not have time for that. So, and negative testing is done primarily by testers. That is why, number one. Then we are saying testers do most of the regression testing. Guys, for each and every release, there is a huge volume of regression done, just making sure nothing got broken. And who does that? Testers, not developers. I mean, developers might, you know, do some small kind of stuff on regression a little bit, but 99.99% of regression is done by testers. And testers test software application at system level. Developers develop several units of the code. It's not like one developer develops the whole code. So when it comes to what developer knows very well and what developer actually tests is specific part of the application which developer develops. That is how it works. And then who is supposed to test the whole product then? If developers test their smaller pieces, but who tests the whole thing? Who tests the system? You do. So that is why we need testers. That is why we need testers, even though developers do lots of testing. So there is another line of testing which developers just do not do. We do not duplicate them. No, we just do something they don't do. And it is cheaper to use testers. And it is very difficult to find the developers, to teach them, to train them, to educate them. So it's much easier to find testers to do that and to produce testers, to convert testers from people of different occupations. So that is why it's cheaper. So let's see what you are saying. Developers test their code, not the product as a whole. So system level, good. Testers do regression and negative. Wow. Brilliant. Testers making negative testing, most of regression done by tester, and they are creating systems. We are not creating systems. We are testing systems, not creating. Develop quick check the product while testers verify, developers, I think, quick check the product while testers verify the bugs and perfection. Not really. Not really. Testers just do specific types of testing, and it's good to read what we are saying about it. And developers do not do quick check, guys. Developers do very thorough testing, very thorough testing. Developers mostly test what users should do, but testers should check also what happens when users do something wrong. That is negative testing, okay? For example, different error messages and other. So it brings the difference to negative testing. The whole sentence is about negative testing, which is true, but we also have regression and we also have system level. Unit test is done by developers, and positive testing are done by developers, good, mostly. But you cannot release product without integration and acceptance testing, which is done by QA. Acceptance testing, probably it's about user acceptance testing. Acceptance testing is not done by QA. Acceptance testing, user acceptance testing is done by subject matter experts. We will talk about that. Under supervision of QA. So we organize them, but we do not do acceptance testing, user acceptance testing. So it's wrong. That is wrong. To test outside the realm of how the user is supposed to use the program. So negative. Okay. Testers are needed. Guys, I do not mind, when you describe negative in your own words. It's better than describing something which is dead wrong. But you are competing on the market. You are not coming to the interview to provide a correct answer. You are coming to the interview to provide the best out of all the correct answers given by other people. And we give you exactly the way to do that. You have to mention 3 things here, at least. You might come with 5 if you wish, if they are correct. Be careful. But if you have 3 to say, why don't you come with 1? And it takes to learn. It takes to learn things to be able to kind of answer interview questions, but on the other hand, it's easier. So it's given to you. It's not like you have to figure out what the answer is. Okay, let's move to number 6. What is gray box testing? Gray box testing. Let's take a look. Gray box testing is a test strategy based on limited knowledge of the internal structure of the program. It is true. Okay, let's keep going. For example, testing web applications. This is expansion of the black box testing. Expansion. So we are saying that gray box testing is an extension of black box testing, because some people say it is a mix. It's a combination of black and white. It is not. Any combination with white is white. So if you combine testing at the source code level with any other testing, it is still testing at the source code level. Okay? So white box testing in combination with anything else will be white box testing. Gray box testing is when you do not go to the code level. You extend, it's an extension of black box. You extend black box testing towards structural, architectural, design issues, something which is behind the user interface, and you might need some tools to do that, database tools, different tools. We will talk about that a lot when it comes to session number 10, which is testing web-based applications, because web applications primarily are tested at gray box level. I mean, there is lots of black box and there is a lot of white box, but lots of testing is done there at the gray box level. Okay, gray box is an extension of black box. Guys, if you say that, you didn't say much, because now you want me to ask you, okay, what kind of extension? Extending that up to what? What is? Do we have that on our cheat sheet here? Not here. Okay, we are not saying that. Okay, gray box test both black and white. No. Gray box is a mix. No. I mean, some people say that they just don't know what they are saying. Gray box, gray is in Britain English. In American English, it's gray box. Who cares? Whichever way you spell the word gray, okay? For example, some queries against database records. Yeah, when you write queries and run them against database, it is an example of gray box testing. You just didn't explain anything besides differences between British and American English, so which is not exactly the question. So you gave an example, you just didn't explain what it is. And the question is not give me an example. The question is what is that? So example is good when you illustrate the idea and you didn't express any idea. The process of using both white box and black box, no. Combination, no. White box with black box, no. Based on limited knowledge of the internal structure, it's true. Involves using tools. Guys, let me see if we have anything on our regression, if we have it on our forum. I'm not sure, we have so many of those. I just gray box, yes, it's right here. Here is what it says. So you did have the place to look at. Gray box testing is using structural, design, and environment information, complete or incomplete, to expand or focus black box testing and to enhance testing productivity by using appropriate methods and tools. So it is an extension of black box. It is using methods and tools, programming languages also. A lot of web testing is done in gray box area. Avoid to say it is a combination of black and white box. Guys, what I really want to bring your attention to, one thing is to take a quiz, and another thing is to learn first. And when you learn, you are supposed to go to a couple of places. So one place is that page which we gave you. No, I'm sorry, that one. Another source is the forum with interview questions and answers, which we give you. That is how you learn. Another one is Wikipedia. Another one is whatever you can find on Google. And probably lots of you, you did browse Wikipedia, because in Wikipedia it says it's a combination. It's just don't, I mean, the person who wrote that is dead wrong. So if the resources we give you get into contradiction with any other resource, guys, our resource prevails, okay? In terms of how we teach you. So I mean, if you learn from us, okay, so you learn from us. It is very cool if you know more than one opinion on the subject. It's very cool. I can tell you 2-3 years ago, any definition taken from Wikipedia was a piece of garbage. Believe it or not. A couple of years ago, someone started to write real good definitions, and I enjoyed it so much, I started to use it in our course. That white box thing came to life, gray box thing, came to life recently. It wasn't even there. And I don't know who that single, person who did that, but it's dead wrong. It is as bad, as terrible as it used to be on Wikipedia a couple of years ago, okay? But it's a part of life, guys. You might find, crap on Wikipedia too. That is why we keep you safe, okay? And we give you something. You just have to look at that and you have to learn from it. Okay, so I think it's a good encouragement for you to look at what we have there next time. What are common stages of software development lifecycle? So now, guys, it doesn't ask you for definition. You do not have to say software development lifecycle is a conceptual model used in project management, which describes software development process in stages. No. They ask you, give me the common stages. That's it. Just stages. The stages are planning. Requirements is a separate stage. You don't have to put requirements in brackets here. Okay. Requirements is a separate stage. Instead of planning, you can say, let's say, analysis, for example. Analysis, requirements, design, implementation, coding, testing, maintenance. Good. Analysis, requirement, look at that, analysis, requirements, design / architecture, good. Coding / development / implementation, testing, documentation, maintenance, perfect. Testing, documentation, specification, I mean, real bad, real bad. There is no cycle here. What specific? I mean, total failure. Stages are software element analysis, good. Specification, okay, which means the requirements here. Architecture, coding, testing, documenting, maintenance, good. Stages in any software development life cycle: waterfall, spiral, agile, R. Look, I can tell you a story how I was given depositions in the court of law one day. So they sent me subpoena to come to the court and testify something. And then there is an attorney tells me, Michael, when they ask you questions, do not volunteer any information. It's your duty to answer the question, but you don't have to give them more than they ask. Do you understand? I'm saying perfectly understand. He says, okay, now let's practice a little bit. He says, do you know what time is it now? I'm saying it is 6:30. He says, Michael, it's wrong. The question was not what is the time. The question was, do you know? Okay? And so the answer is yes. And if they ask you, okay, what is the time? Then you tell them it is 6:30. So I bring that example to make it clear what happened in that answer with waterfall and spiral and agile. Now you open another door to another conversation which wasn't there. So basically you invite me to talk about waterfall and spiral and agile and V-model, all the variations of waterfall and agile cycles. And do you really want that? Do you really want me to go there? Because I might be much more excited about talking about agile and that process. So and why would you volunteer that? Why do you mention which ones? Don't do that. My suggestion: don't do it. Don't do it. Requirements, specification, architectural design, implementation, integration, verification, operation and maintenance. It is not true. Waterfall and agile are different cycles, and stages are not. Stages are different sometimes, and they happen in different way, and lots of things happen in parallel rather than one by one. So I wouldn't really run into that. It is a very dangerous direction in which you might go. System analysis and design, planning, decide. Guys, what I like here, nobody is trying to define what software testing. Oh no, okay, there is one. SDLC is a conceptual model used in project management that describes the stages involved in information systems process, initial feasibility studies through maintenance of the completed application. So that one is kind of bad in two ways. So first of all, it doesn't answer the question, because the question is what are the stages, and there is no answer to that. Then there is something which is not answering the question. Number three looks like it is copy-pasted from our resource. And if you copy-paste something, at least make sure you're copy-pasting the right thing. So that is wrong. It's not the question. The question is not what is software development lifecycle. The question is what are the stages. Okay, just one, which is okay. That is the second one. Same story. Same story. Okay, we have two people who came with the answer to different question. Guys, not bad. I can tell you, you are, I believe, 11th class we teach online. And so far, considering the size of the group, I would say you are the best performing class so far. So I wish you to stay that way. It cannot be 100% perfect, but so far it's very, very good. Typical problems in software development are ambiguity in software requirements. Requirements could be ambiguous, true, incomplete, true, contradictory, true, and it all comes from that page where we talk about software development lifecycle, and then we have the definition of software development lifecycle. I copied someday from Wikipedia, and it says here, incomplete, ambiguous, or contradictory requirements are recognized by skillful, experienced software engineers. So that is where I grabbed that. But I'm not sure if I told you before, Borland, the company which is doing tools for software development, Borland says that 82% of code being rewritten. It was done already, but now they have to rewrite the code. Why? 82% of that happens because of changes to requirements. So if you are skilled enough and you can point to incomplete, ambiguous, or contradictory requirements at earlier stages, guys, you will impact 82% of the code being rewritten. And let me tell you, if it is rewritten, it's not as good as it was written, in the first place, because now you have to fit new things into the older, frame, which might not be easy, or which might not be that much organic anymore, and so on. Depends what kind of changes. Okay, then duplication, guys. If requirements have duplication, it's okay. If duplications are, if they are contradictory, if you read about same thing and it is explained differently, then different developers get different ideas, and then it's not working together, then it's a problem. So ambiguity is a problem, not the duplication by itself. Who is a better tester? We discussed that. The one who submits more bugs, or the one who has more bugs fixed? The one who has more bugs fixed, and we have 83% on that, because that way we impact the quality. If I write bug reports which are not fixed, that means I'm not doing much to change the product to the better. Okay, that one is very simple. What is ad hoc testing? Okay, monkey. Oh, we've got the wrong one here. Okay, guys, let me explain. Ad hoc testing is a subset of exploratory. Subset, or let's call it this way: simplified form of exploratory testing. Exploratory testing has three components in it. So first one is we are planning what we're going to do. But you remember, the purpose of exploratory is to learn, to get better idea. Planning, then after a while we are executing the test, which is second component. And then third component is learning. We analyze what happened and we say, that moment is why we do that. So that is exploratory. But when it comes to ad hoc, we do all that at the same time. All three things happen at the same time: planning, execution, and learning. And from outside, it looks like monkey testing, because monkey does not plan and monkey does not learn. Monkey just executes with no learning curve. Now, ad hoc testing looks like monkey, but it is not. It is not. It is a simplified form of exploratory testing. We have just 27% here, guys. It is simplified form of exploratory testing. It is about simultaneously planning and executing. It is about simultaneously executing and learning. All those things happen at the same time. Okay. So that is the story, and honestly, I'm not sure if we have that ad hoc on the forum. You can look. Yeah, we do. We actually do. Simplified form of exploratory testing. where planning, executing, and learning are happening at the same time. Good. It is a random or non-systematic functionality testing. It is not monkey testing. It helps to find numerous bugs due to rare combinations of user actions. And main purpose of learning is learning about the application, not breaking it down. Guys, you've got everything. It is a reminder to you. Make sure you use the resources we give you. Let me take a look at your messages here, because I want to make sure. So what happens, guys, you have some conversations there, and yeah, instead, well, we are using that window for asking questions, so we can actually, so I can answer. Guys, if you have a question, ask that question, please, right now, in the, when we will receive the password to access all resources. You can receive it on individual basis, and I do send it out on individual basis when we get that payment notification things. I believe like 6, 7, 8 people already got one. And I've seen your payment. I will send it your way. Actually, guys, in between right now and tomorrow, 6 p.m., I mean 23 hours from, for the next 23 hours, whoever didn't make the payment, so you're supposed to make the payment, and 1 hour before 6 tomorrow, I will start removing people with no payment notification from that group. So when we meet tomorrow, same time, only people with process payment will be in the group, or otherwise you have to somehow contact me, and so I would look into your specific situation. So if you guys, if you paid and you didn't see any confirmation in email, I don't think there's going to be any confirmation email, so it is on the page. But you can individually contact us, and I don't think the whole group should get into that kind of discussion. Do we have to submit bug reports on Tolle and Resume Builder? Guys, we really want you to submit bug reports on Tolle and Resume Builder, obviously. And we have in the online part of the class, of the forum here in online, we have actually topics for that. Some of you, like 37 minutes ago, someone reported, yeah, Svetlana just reported. We want you to do that because that is your practice. It is not like we're going to fix your bugs. We want them to stay. But we want you, when you watch the video and you watch how I report the bugs, we want you to go and find bugs and write bug reports, because that is why how you get a job. They go to an interview and they ask you about the bugs you found. They ask you to write a bug report. They ask you to write a test case. That is the practice. That is the homework we give you. We definitely want you to write bug reports. You can start a new topic if you wish. It's okay. I can remove it later on if I don't like it, you know. But we still want you to write, to practice. That is how you learn. You learn by doing, not by just listening to, you know, to the webinars. What's the best way to contact about payment confirmation? Skype is perfect. Do we have additional homework for tomorrow if we have paid, besides practicing more from pages? Guys, let's do it this way. Next session is going to be on bug reporting. Okay, so let me go to the, when you come here, so there is a bug reporting video here. See, bug reporting. Just watch that video. It takes how long? It takes 23 minutes. So guys, it's not a big deal. Just go for that bug reporting video, and that is what we are going to do next time, tomorrow. And Thursday, you will have your first project session. Okay? Shilpi says, I sent message about my, I've seen your message. I just didn't have any information yet. So I need some time to process payments. So we do not update our payment information each and every minute. So we will see. Today we did the last report 2 hours ago, and we found 9 people already who already paid. But would it be one of the prior projects? It would be one of the prior projects. Yes, it would be the GenieTrack project, which proved to be very hot. It's a purely mobile application, and again, we have 3 projects recorded, and if you go through GenieTrack, so 2 other projects would be available if you want to add more. So guys, I do not see questions more coming, and so we are done for today, and so I'll talk to you tomorrow, and tomorrow when you join the group, so whoever didn't get the access to the resources will get access to the resources, and I will give you an overview of the other resources we have, because normally when I send it to you in Skype, so I give you access to previous online class and to video page. We have more than that, so I will do it next time. Okay, Shilpi says, just a quick question. Okay, please. Okay, guys, and I can tell you, we never had any specific situation when someone pays the money and we do not see the money, or any trouble coming out of it. What is the start date when asked upon payment? Start date. I do not understand. Start date is May 16th, when we met first time, and you have 1 week trial period. So you attend 3 sessions, and if you decide to stay, so then before next session begins tomorrow, so within that period of time you just pay. Would you go over the bugs we found? Oh, absolutely. Next session is about bugs you found, guys. Next session is specifically about the bugs. Absolutely. Okay, so I do not see really. Will I use last Tuesday date? I don't know what that means. Yeah, last Tuesday date is when we started. Just quicks. Okay. So guys, so we have 2 assignments. You have Tole and you have resume builder. Yeah. Okay, guys. So I have to go, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Whoever will stay in the class, so we will meet tomorrow.